August 9th, 2022. Hope everybody out there is having a good day today. Start up by saying if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Talk to you a little bit today about what will you do when the time comes. And what I mean by that is I want y'all to think back to the pandemic. You know, a lot of people were mad when they were told to stay home or their kids wasn't going to school. They were like, well, my kid needs to be out, needs to be interacting with other kids to be normal. You know, things like that. When the world finally, when SHTF finally happens, what do you think most people's going to do? I think some of them's just not going to believe it. They're going to try to keep going on about their day as normal until they realize, oh crap, something's going on. I got to do something. And by that time, it's too late. You're not prepared. We're going to see a lot of people when SHTF happens, when full-blown SHTF happens, we're going to see people not believe it. You're going to have people that panic. You're going to have some people like us that's going to sit back and be like, all right, we're prepared for this. Let's do X, Y, Z. You know, we got our plan out. But these people that don't really get prepared, they think everything's normal, you know. They just go on about their day as normal. Everything's fine and dandy in the world right now. Eventually their eyes will open, and when they do, they're going to be shocked at what's actually going on right now. Our America is falling. It's falling apart. It's falling apart in the government. It's falling apart all around us. Everything. Our roads are falling apart. Our power grids are falling apart. Our water systems are falling apart. And they're not doing nothing about it because they simply don't want to do nothing about it because they know what's coming. They know that, hey, the Great Reset's coming. We don't need to fix this. We'll wait until the New World Order takes over, and then we'll deal with stuff then. You'll own nothing and be happy type situation. But to get back on point here, I'm sure some of us, I know myself personally, I know people that when the pandemic started and they were told you need to stay home, it just made them mad. You know, oh, they were mad. But these were also the people that would post Facebook memes, the only way I can get a vacation is if I go to the hospital or I'm admitted to the hospital. You know the type of memes I'm talking about. Or you probably heard people say, I can't get a vacation. I just got to work straight through everything. You know, I don't ever get no time off. But when they were told, hey, go home, we'll pay you $600, $800 a week, they got mad. You know, they're the ones that also says, I don't have enough time to spend with my kids because I'm always working. Well, when they were told, the kids were told, we're not going to have school no more, they got mad. Y'all know the people. Y'all probably seen them yourself, you know. There's always a reason to not do this or not do that. But when SHTF happens and these people are forced to stay home or there's no school, there's no jobs, there's no nothing, just think what's going to happen. We're going to have people just lose their mind. I mean, one of the number one medications prescribed during the pandemic was your anxiety medicine, you know, your depression medicine, your Xanax, your Paxil, stuff like that. It was one of the highest prescribed medication during the pandemic because people couldn't cope with it. You know, if you're a prepper, we're just as normal as everyone else, but we prepare for things that's coming down the line. You know, we don't want them to happen, but if they do happen, we sit back and we're like, all right, we're good to go. We've got our food situation straight. We've got our protection. We've got our water. We've got everything we need right here. We're not having to run out at the last minute. Think of a snowstorm in your area, especially if you're watching me and you're from the south. You know what I'm talking about. If the weatherman says there's an inch of snow coming tomorrow, your store's going to be wiped out of your bread, your milk, stuff like that. Because people are not even prepared for a 3 to 4 day, you know, little snow event or something like that no more. Think back, I've told you before, I'm 45, my grandparents, maybe your grandparents or your great-grandparents, think back how they were. You know, my grandparents went to town once a week, that's what they did. My other grandparents went to town once a month. But when they went, they bought everything they needed for that month. You know, they were stocked up, and they also can. And we're not talking about they'd go out and buy a bag of flour or something like that. They would buy a 50-pound, whatever it took to get through the month. That's how they shopped. You know, that's just the way they did it. Now, my other grandparents that went every week, they would buy little stuff, but they always had home canned foods put up and stuff, you know. They would go buy extra stuff, you know, like bread or bologna or just little things like that's what they would do. They did it just mainly to get out of the house. That was their thing. Saturday morning, you know, they'd get up, go to town, they'd stop and get something to eat and come home. And then they didn't go back to town for a whole week, you know. I grew up fortunate enough when one of my sets of my grandparents, that family owned a sawmill, so they didn't. My grandpa didn't have to drive to work. He just walked across the yard to the sawmill, and that's how he went back and forth to work, was walking. But to get back on point here, you're going to have people. Number one, they're going to get mad. Number two, they're really going to get depressed when they look around and they're like, I don't have nothing I need. Those are the ones you have to worry about. Are they going to come after your stuff? Are they going to start stealing stuff? Are they going to start, are they? It's just crazy to sit and think about it. That's type of stuff you need to start preparing for now. If you've got neighbors, kind of, get to know them. I'm not saying go tell them everything you have, but see if they, like if you've got a garden. A lot of times when you have a garden, your neighbors will come and help you with the garden, things like that, and that's great. But you're also going to have some people that has neighbors, they don't even know their neighbors, They don't know who the next door neighbor is. They don't know if they could, ask them for help or something like that. Right now is the time everybody needs to be doing that. They need to be getting to know your neighbors, or if you're, I'm just going to stay to myself and I don't want nobody to bother me, that's your choice to do it like that. But the problem's going to be when this all goes down, you're going to have people that seriously get upset over having to stay home, their kids having to stay home, and then on top of that, they're going to have depression, they're going to have anxiety, they're going to have all these other things going on, and if they're not prepared for it, that's going to just add to it even more and make the situation worse. So guys, right now is the time to start preparing if you haven't. I mean, a lot of channels have quit telling you to prepare because, if you haven't now, you're not going to. But I firmly believe there's still a little bit of time to prepare. Yes, you're going to pay a lot more than what you would have a year ago or 2 years ago for the stuff you're needing. Focus on your food, water, and protection right now. Focus on that. You're going to be paying more for it. You're going to be paying more for food than you would have if you started prepping, in January, but that's just the way it is. Guys, get out there and get prepped up to the best of your ability. And if it's possible to get to know your neighbor, get to know them. If that's the type of person you want to be. If you want to just stay away from everybody, that's your choice too. But you need to know your neighbors. You need to know what you might have to deal with during a SHTF situation from your neighbors. Don't think just because you're prepared that your neighbors are prepared or other family members are prepared. Some family members will not prepare. They just, like I said, they just go on about their day like normal. Walmart's open. I can stop and get some food. McDonald's, I can stop and get a hamburger. Some people think like that. They won't realize what's going on until all that is closed and there's nothing there to get. And then that's when the problems will start in your communities. That's it. You'll have some people, that see it coming. And they're sitting there just hoping and waiting. They're going to try to come take your stuff. That's just the way some people are. That's where the protection comes in. You need to have your protection for your preps. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think, like during the pandemic, we'll see a lot of people just get completely mad because, I can't go on about my day as normal anymore. I've got to stay at home. I've got to deal with stuff around the house, Little Susie and little Johnny, they can't go to school. I'm mad about that, Let me know your thoughts on this. I would love to hear from you on this one. If you're still watching, hit that subscribe button. Our subscribers have went way down. We're not getting many anymore, but for all y'all who has subscribed, thank you. Thank you, every one of you. And your new subscribers, feel free to share these videos with your friends and family. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. You're not safe anywhere in the world anymore. Protect yourself and your family at all times. Get prepared. And if you're still watching, hit that subscribe button. Thank you.